What's up, everybody? Welcome to CFP Talks. My name is Joe Nissim. With me, as always, is my main man, Mr. David Fuchs.
What's up, Joe?
What's going on, brother?
Nothing, man. Nothing much. How you doing? No, I know you're in Jersey right now. I mean, a little delayed, but I know you're in Jersey. Happy to have you back on the East Coast. Maybe this is the start of you possibly moving back here. Who knows?
Probably not. I love California so much.
No, I respect that. Like, I know you love it out there. A lot of times, like when people move out of the country or out of there where they like grew up, where their family is, all that. They'll come back after like 3 to 5 years or so, but I actually feel like you genuinely love it out in California.
It's great. It's hard to argue with 330 days of sunshine.
Right.
And
No, exactly.
I come back and it's like rainy. I'm like, every time I come back and it's raining, I'm like, I made the right choice. I miss the sun
And
though.
in the winter, when it's
Uh,
brick.
it's honestly the lack of sun is brutal.
Yeah.
The lack of sun that hurts me. I like the sun. I like being outdoors. You know, especially when I get here, I feel like I'm indoors a lot more, which is not my favorite. But it's part of the lifestyle here, which it's kind of cool because it's East Coast. It's a New York thing. I really like that though.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk CFP. Let's
Let's
talk CFP, baby.
um I had an interesting conversation with somebody
Really?
this week.
Really?
I did
Who? With who?
with a potential CFP student.
Really?
Interesting conversation. They took the exam in March, took it in July, did a review course, and went ham sandwich on questions.
Well, just really quickly before I'm guessing he failed both or she failed both.
They
Okay.
failed. Correct.
So that. Okay. Got it.
I'm saying they because I don't want to make a reference to the student. I don't want. We're
I
too
got you.
this.
I got you. I'm just messing around.
um, we are not a politically correct show, are we? We're not for everybody. But they 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 were like really distraught. Like I did so many questions like what did I do wrong? I
Yeah.
thought I was supposed to just do these questions over and over and over again. And now we were chatting about our my group class and how it's different than some of the other classes. He's like I could do November, but I don't want to do the same quizzes and the same tests that I did because I just don't want to do that process over and over again. And I know this is really common advice, like especially if you work at a broker dealer or you work in an office or you work pretty much anywhere
With people.
with people who've taken
Yeah.
the CFP exam.
Yeah.
Probably gotten this advice is just do the practice questions. You'll be
Yeah. No, that's all I mean, listen, like this is my what have I been in the industry now for 7 or 8 years, I guess. I obviously when I first started, I was taking all the FINRA exams and the life insurance exams and all that. And I can tell you the thing that sticks out the most in my mind from all the people, the managers, the upper management, from my peers who had maybe taken the exam before me, the number one piece of advice that sticks out of my head is just do as many practice questions as you can. Just take as many practice quizzes as you can, mock exams, and you'll be fine. That's the number one piece of advice that they give. And it's like, that's not a study strategy.
no, it's certainly not a study strategy. Here's my question to you. Is it wrong? Is it bad advice?
I mean, listen, like, I guess it kind of depends. I think for the FINRA exams, and again, we always sit here and trash the FINRA exams because honestly, I mean, listen, they are what they are. But for those exams, I actually think it's kind of accurate because I will say when I took the 7 and the 63 and the life insurance exam and all that jazz, that is pretty much what I did. I did read through the book, like the Kaplan book or the STC book one time, underlined a couple things, highlighted a bunch of BS, and then just basically did practice exams for 3.5 weeks.
Right.
And I passed everything on the first try.
But the thing is that you had certain familiarity with some of those things, right? So like if you had
Well, at that point, not really. I just entered the industry.
you hadn't traded stocks before, you hadn't like
No,
really,
nothing, nothing.
that's
I mean,
interesting.
I took a couple business classes in college, but nothing to do with like what was kind of tested on the Series 7 exam. But regardless, you asked me, is it the right thing? For those exams, my answer would be, yeah, you can get away with it. If you are sharp and you are smart and you know how to kind of work it like that, it's fine. It worked for me. It worked for almost a lot of people that have taken those exams. Here's the punchline though, Joe. It's not right for this exam though.
It's certainly not right for this exam. And, it's, I don't think it's bad advice. I think it's misplaced advice.
Yeah, it's misguided.
And I think it's outdated advice. I
Yep.
do think there is a point in your studying where practice questions are going to be the most relevant.
Mhm.
But that doesn't excuse what you do before going into those practice exams and
Or
your
after.
questions and how you approach it. But when you say that out loud, and I will tell you, there was a point in time on the CFP exam where that was great advice, but it's outdated now because the exam has changed. When the exam was longer and a 2 day period exam and it was 10 hours, there was going to be easier questions just by nature. Anytime that they crunch down an exam, the questions that are going to get left on the exam are not the easier questions. It's primarily going to be in that to moderate difficult to advanced. Those are the exam questions that end up. That happened with CFA level 1 when CFA level 1 changed their format from 240 questions to 180. The pass rate went from 44% to 31% because
Because the
people
questions got harder.
questions got harder and everybody
Right.
got so you're used
Right.
to thinking, oh my God, I'm going to see this. There's no way that they're going to test it. And then they end up testing it. And the thing that what we saw on CFP, again, if you took this the time that I took it, where some of those questions were included, you could do that. But if you didn't know some of the harder stuff, you still weren't going to pass. Now, if you really don't know that harder stuff, you're not going to pass. And you have to learn it, period. So let me make this very clear. Multiple
Oh,
choice is a testing mechanism. It is not a learning mechanism. Even if you're doing multiple choice questions, if you're not reviewing it, you're not going to learn from it. And you all know this because, and I'm going to tell you exactly what you all do. You do a practice question. I've seen a question like this 5 exams and I still can't get it right. Every time they test it, they change the wording and then I get it wrong. The amount of times I hear that every single week and that all of us have experienced that, it's because you're not actually doing anything. Because again, multiple choice there is not there to teach you. Multiple choice is a testing mechanism. What you do with your multiple choice exams is up to you and how much you're going to learn from it. And that was something that, with your group, you were like, and I remember you guys going, why are we reviewing? Because we want to reinforce the good things that we did and we want to fix the things that we didn't do so well. Because if you're not learning from those exams, you could do 10,000 exams.
I also think this is another factor at play. And going back to the FINRA exams, they don't give out like the exact same exams, but a lot of those questions are duplicated. Like they don't throw them out and
Yeah.
then come up with all new ones. Like I remember I got specific word for word questions on the exam that I already knew the answer to.
Me too.
because Kaplan had the the Kaplan had that question on their practice exam, or STC or whoever had it in their word bank, and I just knew it. I didn't even have to read the question or read the answers.
CFP never does that.
CFP will never ever. I mean, I think it's like a fact. They don't repeat any questions,
They
right?
won't.
They may have stuff that's crafted very, very similarly, but you will never get the same exact question.
No, they may use it multiple exams in a row. Like they might use it for the March and July and for the November, but the second they say this is now an old question, they will never reuse that question again. So
Right.
not so you might see it like if you take the March exam and then you take the July exam, and I'll tell you, I don't really even think they do it more than one exam. I think they reset their bank every single exam
That's what I think too. That's what I've heard. That's why I'm saying that.
but I think, but I know for a fact that once it gets released, they're never using it again.
Right, exactly. So, like, one of the things people say, oh, just take a bunch of practice. They usually recycle some of the questions, or they're very, 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 very similar, which again will basically guarantee you that you're going to get that question right. You're not going to see that on the CFP exam. So, yes, I think Joe nailed the point. You're not doing that to prepare and learn. You're not doing practice questions like solely to learn. You do that on other exams, yes, but not on this one. This is more of, all right, let me reinforce that I actually do know sorry, that I actually do know the concept. I'm going to study it. I'm going to learn it. I'm going to, really, really get to become familiar with these concepts. And then to test myself to see how much I actually do know it, then I will take practice questions to kind of test myself.
And I want you to think about those when you're reviewing an exam, David. It's no different than athletes watching film. Why do athletes watch film? They don't go, "Oh, that game is done. Okay, next game." All right, well, if you don't watch the film, how are you going to change the things that you did wrong in that game
Yeah.
in the next one? Because
Right.
again, when you're taking an exam, it's not like you get to observe yourself while you're taking that exam because remember, you're in the moment. And if you're not having a chance to observe what you did in that moment, how the hell are you going to change it? Right? It's like you need a point of reflection. Why did I make that decision? Did I get amped up? Was I just nervous? Did I kind of run through it? Well, again, I have students who all come to me with all kinds of different testing anxieties for lack of a better term, right? You rush through, you don't read the question, you get nervous, you psych yourself out. We all do it. Every single one of us is guilty of it. How do you change that? You got to reflect on it. Why did I make that? Oh man, I was just rushing through it. I didn't know the answer. Oh my God, I even wrote it down on my scratch paper. Okay, next time, go with your gut, right? How do you know that? How are you going to build confidence if you're not sitting there and observing what you're doing and getting a chance to kind of quote unquote watch the film? Because if you're not watching film, oh, all that stuff that I did that was good, I'm not sitting there wondering if it was good or not. I now know it was good. And I now know that I picked the right answer for the right reason, right? But again, if you just keep doing practice question after practice question after practice question, how are you going to know why you're getting something right and why you're getting something wrong? Or how are you going to know what you need to go back and learn? Because if you got a question right and you have no idea, okay, then you do another question, you still have no idea. So now you're just burning time and energy. You could do 20 questions on that topic. You're still not going to know. It's going to build this sense of false confidence because you're seeing the numbers go up. Oh, 300 questions is better than 200. 400 is better than 3. 1,000 is better than 800. You're seeing those numbers go up, but the quality matters, right? And if you're not sitting there and doing that review process, and you're just taking questions and you're not taking that review and then going back and relearning and doing a little practice and focusing on the learning element, this will never ever change your score. Your score will kind of etch sideways, or you'll do the roller coaster thing because you're not learning. Period.
There's some tutoring. Bang.
Period. With a T.
Just end this. End this right now. You got the red light. Done.
As always, everybody, we hope you enjoyed this episode. With any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to David or myself, and we will see you guys very soon.